Hello everyone, this is Dan Jones, and today I am changing the machine heads on my classical guitar. It's a really good guitar, it's an E.B. Jones guitar. I've been playing it for 22 years, it's an instrument I really love. But the problem is my machine heads have started rattling. I think they've given up the ghost, so I'm replacing them for these Schaller heads, and these are the new ones, and they're the old ones. And I've come into an issue for which I think I've found a solution. I'd like to share that with you. And basically the new barrels fit nicely into the holes on the headstock. You can see I've already taken the strings off and removed the old heads. And I should say that if the barrels don't fit, that's really a luthier job. You know, it's not the kind of thing a jobber can do. But the issue I had then was that the little holes in the heads to put the fixing screws, they didn't align with the old ones. So that's not really such a big deal, because it's just a question of drilling some new small holes in the headstock. But then the issue I had then was that you can see that the old hole is right next to where I want my new hole to be. So the new hole would fall into the old hole. So I somehow needed to plug the old hole. So the tip I'm offering you is to use a cocktail stick. Now what I found with my particular instrument is that the sharp end of the stick was actually just a bit too small for the hole, and as luck would have it, the thick end was, needless to say, too thick. So the tip which I'm going to show you is I just took a small penknife, which I'm lucky enough to have. You might have a kitchen knife, or maybe something like the inside of a razor blade could be good, but be careful because they're fantastically sharp. And I'm just going to whittle away bits of this cocktail stick until it fits nicely into the hole. So here's my technique. So I'm going to whittle away from my fingers. So I'm just going to take the knife, I just push downwards. So you can just start carving bits of little kind of thin shards of wood off the stick. I'll do this a few times. Then I'm going to take the stick, sorry about the wobbly camera, and just try it in the hole. Just keep on doing that until it fits. Okay, so I've got to the point now where my cocktail stick fits really nicely into the hole. Okay, and it's a bit tricky with one hand, but I can push that stick in, and when I pull it out again I can see, well, I'm just trying to show, it goes into about this kind of depth, so I can see it goes all the way into the hole. So using two hands I've put that into the hole. That's all the way in up to the end of the hole. So now I just need to get the stick broken off, and I was trying to cut this, but I've actually found if I just break it, get a little twist like so, that's perfectly fine. And anything else which is poking out, you can just get the soft end of a screwdriver and just give a very gentle tap in. Now it may look a bit unsightly, but of course it doesn't matter, because ultimately it's going to be covered by the new machine head. So the first job I'm going to do is go around and plug all of these holes with these bits of cocktail sticks, and then I'm going to have a go at marking the new holes and drilling them. Okay, so as you can see now, all those holes have been plugged with the bits of cocktail stick on both sides, little bits of pale wood there. Just took about 10 minutes or so. And now I'm going to put the new heads on just into the barrels and measure where I have to drill the new holes. I can't show you this because I need two hands, but what I would say is it took a bit of effort to get these in, you know, so I think you have to really work them in. I was surprised but how much effort it took, but as long as you support the head as you push, then there shouldn't be a problem. And the other thing is, just be careful you get them the right way around. Compare them to your old heads, maybe to even take a photo of your old heads before you take them off, because it's really easy, say, put these on the other side, which actually means they wouldn't fit. So yeah, it's an easy trap to fall into. Just make sure you understand exactly where you're going to set each side, and perhaps take a photo of your old ones to help you out there. So I'm going to put them in and then just take a shot then when I'm ready to drill. Okay, so these new heads are now in place, and what I'm going to do is take a good sharp pencil and just mark in the hole. I'll do this with two hands in a moment before I drill. I suppose it's feasible, you could drill with the heads in place, but I just feel uncomfortable about that because it's the first time I've done this and I'm a guitar player rather than a luthier, so I'm going to be prudent about it. So I'm going to mark the points and then take the heads back off and then get ready to drill. Okay, so what we have here is 2 screws and a drill bit. The screw on the right, the longer one, is one of the original screws from the first set of heads. The middle one's the screw that came with the new heads, and then there's a 1.5mm drill bit, which I think will work. I've actually got 1mm, but it's actually hard to get it to stay in the drill. So I think I'm going to use the old screws because they're a bit longer, as you can see, and it'll probably just give me greater purchase. And to make sure I don't go too deep, I'm going to get a bit of tape and take into account the fact that it's got to go into the wood and go through the actual metal part of the head itself. I'm going to measure the depth I need to do in the need to drill into the head using a bit of tape on the drill bit. I'll show you that in a moment. Okay, so you can see there's my drill bit, and I've put some white tape around the points which will indicate the limit of the depth I need to go to. So I'm now going to drill, and as I do that I'm just going to support the head with a hand, put the drill on the low speed, go slowly and surely with both hands. So I'll show you the result after. So, not sure this is being filmed effectively, but it's pretty painless. So I'm just putting my drill on the pencil mark, start it slowly. Jump up. Easy peasy. Okay, so I've done the holes and I put the heads back in. I can imagine it doesn't come through so well on the film, but I can see the holes such as here. I need to get my finger, are nicely aligned. So I'm going to screw them in now, and I'll try both sets of screws, see which one works the best. Okay, so about 7 or 8 minutes later, I put the screws in. There was really no problem at all. The 1.5mm drill bit seemed to be fine for me because the screws, caught nicely. There's plenty of, good resistance. They've got something to pinch onto. A little tip is just to do each screw up a bit at a time rather than do one all the way, then the other one all the way, so they can all go in kind of evenly, and it just feels more orderly that way. So next thing to do, I'm going to give the guitar a clean, and then I'm going to string it up, and then we'll see how it sounds. So all's working really well, really happy. Heads are really nicely installed, and the guitar's working without any buzzes, which is great. So all I'd say is it's a pretty easy job. I was lucky because I was able to borrow a good drill from a neighbour. I think it's really important to have a good drill with a multi-speed setting. So yeah, see if you can get one of those. Small screwdrivers. I should say that over the last few weeks I've had these new heads in place, but with no fixing screws. I actually played a couple of gigs with the heads just being held by the tension of the strings in the barrel, and they work fine, but obviously it's nice to get the job complete. So if in doubt, it's probably best to go to a maker who can make sure they do the job properly for you, but I hope that's useful, and please like and subscribe. Thanks ever so much. Bye.